guys, we're gonna make some homemade pico today. So this is one of my favorite things. I love it, especially in the summertime when you can get those really fresh tomatoes. Our favorite tomato to use for pico is Roma tomatoes. Here they are. And really and truly, how many you use depends on how much you want to make. So we're going to use about, I think we've got 9 of them here today. So I'm going to quarter each of them like this. And then I'm going to take out the membrane part here. That just allows us to not have so much liquid in our pico. Because pico, you know, traditionally is mostly just the meat of the tomato and doesn't have a lot of the membrane part. I'm not super picky with how much I get out of there. I just want to get the main pieces out, the liquidy pieces out. I'm also, after that, going to slice like this, and then I'm going to dice them up into smaller pieces. I don't want them like super tiny. I still want a good bite of tomato. So they're roughly going to look right about like that. So I'm going to do that for all the rest of these tomatoes. All right, guys, so we have our diced up tomatoes all ready to go. The next part we're going to do is we're going to cut up our onions here. I like to slice them down, not all the way through. Then we turn them up on the side and hold on to them. And then you have your diced onions. You can use 1 larger onion or 2 smaller onions. Really, once again, this is kind of a personal preference as well. We prefer the white onions in it. You can also use the purple onions. Traditionally, it is white onions, and that's our favorite. I might have needed a bigger bowl. We'll see. I think it'll be fine. Let's say you want to serve it for dinner. I would say to make this up 2 or 3 hours ahead of time. It's just going to allow those flavors to meld together and taste better. The next step is our cilantro. All I'm going to do is cut off some of the stemmy parts down at the bottom. I don't care if there's some stem in there. I just don't want the bulk of the stems of the cilantro in there. You can do a head of cilantro pretty quickly this way. Like I said, I'm not too picky. Being from Texas, we had pico all the time. Pico and guacamole were things that we just had pretty much all the time in the house that we were making and eating with whatever, breakfast, lunch, dinner. That and borracho beans. Stay tuned for that video. That'll be a good one. You know, little fun fact, if you like the cilantro lime rice from Chipotle, they don't do this step. They just cut up the whole head. So don't be scared to leave some of the stems in there. By the time you dice them all up, you're not going to taste the fact that there are cilantro stems in there. I've seen some people just pull it apart by hand, do it that way. I just kind of like to dice it up like a little bit smaller. You can add as much cilantro as you like for taste. It's okay to leave it a little bit larger with pico since it is more of a dip. Those fancy knife skills right there. I'm going to add my cilantro into my pico here. All right, so now we've got our pico, our tomatoes, our onions. Kind of got to mix it together here. I'm going to add in the garlic powder. So just a little bit of garlic powder. This is to your liking. I like garlic, so I'm going to go a little heavier with it here. And I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, not a ton. And then we're going to add a little bit of just regular sea salt. I think everything's better with salt. Mix all that in there together. I'm kind of being careful to just kind of fold all these ingredients in together. I don't want to mash up my tomatoes. Let's try it. That's what I'm talking about right there.